Welcome back. I got thrown off. Alber's screen going off the thing here messed me up to start here. January 17th. Welcome back to Edgework. I'm Zack Phillips, joined today by Alex Moretto. And at some point here, potentially Matt Alber. We'll see what happens with his screen.
I wanted to have frozen Alber
that's
to
what
the screen.
that's what threw me off.
Not showing.
That's what threw me off. All right, well, we got 3 games on the NHL schedule tonight, so we'll break down each of the 3 games, get into those. We also have a question that was sent over to myself via Twitter a couple of days ago, so we'll get into that here as well, answering some futures questions that are going through. Yeah, there you go. Evan's saying, rat chewed through Alber's power lines again. Yeah, Alber in shambles right now. Hopefully we can get him back in here at some point, but there you go. All right. Let's get into last night's games here, Moretto, because we did have a little bit of a tough night. Well, as a show, I guess we did. Like, I don't know. What am I gonna do? I can't be the guy who's gonna be.
No.
If I say we didn't and say like, oh, Russell did, I'm the Leafs. I'm coming here and telling you, well, I scored a goal last night. My line had 2 points. What do you mean we lost? How does this affect me? The show goes 3-4 yesterday. Tough day for Russell, but I mean, has had a pretty good year so far, so we'll let it slide for the one day. But 3-4 on the night last night moves our season long record to 189, 185-4 with 378 bets. We're now at 6.5% ROI. Still a very good season for us here. But take us through what happened last night, what led to the 3-4 night, and why you're gonna defer the blame to Russell.
Yeah, you are a very professional host, so I wouldn't expect you to throw blame on anyone. We went 3-4 as a show last night. Yeah, I'll take credit for all 3 wins, and I'll throw Russell under the bus for all 4 sides that he lost on. And it is what it is. It happens. Kind of felt like I was doing the show with Matt Alber instead of Matt Russell with those results, but I wanted him here for that one. I had it all teed up, and this guy's computer goes down. He doesn't even get to hear it. Now it's a stray. Too bad. But yeah, the totals were fairly comfortable. At least in the first 2 games, that Capitals game was never in doubt, and the Sharks game, I kind of would say the same thing. 2-1, 1-1 going into overtime shootout. Needed 12 rounds of the shootout to get
did
that.
Did we not say that
win.
Yesterday?
Yes, we did. We did not bet. The fact that we didn't bet honestly, did I not say 2 same game parlay? Blackhawks
yes.
money line, Sharks plus 1.5.
Yes.
That was a big missed opportunity. Yeah. But yeah,
that could have been an absolute day. Like if we did that and we did the regulation draw. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Game goes to shootout, like we said too.
Cowards, though. We are cowards, so we didn't do any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 3 unders get home. Russell's sides kind of dragged us down. Alber, I'm sorry you missed. You missed my jab at you that I had lined up.
It's well deserved. Crashed. Yeah, Zach sends the link. I click it. I load it up. We're chatting beforehand. The second he hit record, I'm just like,
gone.
The whole thing just stops working. So I had to close it. And feeling like Joey Knish, which is not something you want to feel.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, 3-4 day yesterday. We got a bunch of games ahead of us here, or a few games ahead of us here today, so we want to answer those. We do want to answer the questions, but shout out to everyone who's in the chat here right now. I see everyone who shows up every day. Brian, Nebraska Knows, Jeremy, Jay Stone, Rich, Evan, Claudio, thanks to you guys. Charles, for showing up here to the chat yet again. We do appreciate the support, but if you guys are here right now, you're someone who comes back regularly, you forgot to hit the like button, now's a good time to do so. Hit that like button while you're watching. Subscribe here to the channel. If you're new to the channel, you're clicking on this for the first time, please subscribe here as well. Like today's stream, we do daily NHL shows Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, breaking down the games for that night, as well as giving out best bets. You can see all of our record for the season over in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section. And as always, The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to help you do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book, whether it's for games, futures, or player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. So make sure to download the app today. It is available on Android, iOS, as well as on the web. And if you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework. That's betstamp.app/edgework. All right, well, before we can get off of last night's games, I know that there's one we lost on. We talked about how it was the game that was probably going to be the one that won, Moretto. That would be the Leafs-Oilers game. We kind of had predicted how that one might play out. We just ended up on the wrong side of that in terms of the Oilers ended up being the team that won. But honestly, if you were sitting on the couch with me watching that, as soon as it got 2-0, you could have known that one was going to end up Oilers because this Leafs team is fraudulent and they can't hold on to leads. But Moretto, you got to watch that Leafs game last night. What were your thoughts on there?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were done with the under like 25 seconds in. I was like, oh my God, It's going to be one of those games where Evan Bouchard just decides to not even remotely cover Matthews' far side for that easy goal. Thankfully, they battled back, and man, this team is like, honestly, like we can throw shade at the Leafs all we want and stuff, and they're in the midst of a bit of a rough patch, but like the Oilers are unbelievable. Rolling. This team is just caving everyone in on any given night. We talked about how their schedule had been a bit soft, and maybe that's why. Like, no, it doesn't matter. They did to the Leafs what they've been doing to the likes of the Blackhawks and the Habs and everyone in this league. I mean, the Habs took them to overtime the other night. That should have been a 5-1 game. Like that, the Habs got dominated in that game. Montembeault just stood in his head. I think he saved like 3.5 goals above expected. I think you learned a lot more about the Oilers last night than we did about the Leafs. I don't think you can like fault the Leafs for, look, it was just a defensive miscue in the end that cost them, right? Just like some bad D-zone coverage that allowed, who was it, Ryan that scored the goal? Or no, it was McLeod that came out and scored that.
Well, Derek Ryan, who scores the first one, he's wide open in the slot, and then McLeod comes around the net and scores.
Yeah. So it's just like we just learned that, hey, like step up in class or whatever you want to call it for the Oilers, and they kept chugging along. I mean, if the Canucks could stop shooting like 60%, then maybe, our 8-1 Oilers to win this division would get home. But like, this is insane what Vancouver's doing right now too. So it gets more frustrating by the day considering we're holding that Oilers ticket.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as my thoughts for the game, you're pretty much bang on. Like, we learned more about the Oilers there. This was a matter of confirming things we already knew about the Leafs. And I also have one more thing to say. These post-game press conferences about, we're not panicked, we're not worried in this room. You know what? Fuck that. At some point here, it doesn't have to be about panic, but like, be pissed off, respond, tell the media about how you're not happy with the results. You don't like what's happening every night. I don't want to hear Mitch go in there and say, we're not panicked in this room. That's you guys making this narrative. Well, get fucking panicked then. Care. Like, have some set of balls, have some response, have some pride for what the hell goes on the ice. It's so absurd to come into the media after every time. You had zero success in your entire time you've been here in Toronto. 7 years of first round playoff losses, then you go 1 year that you win, you go to the second round and you win one fucking game, and all of a sudden it's all good. Like, you're fine with saying we're a great team, we're happy, we're okay. What the hell is that? You've got Devon Toews and the Colorado Avalanche. These guys won a Stanley Cup 2 years ago, and yet they have a little bit of a rough patch, and Devon Toews is like, we got guys in this room, we think they're playing well. They're kidding themselves. They got no idea. Like, these are guys who hold themselves and their teammates to a much higher caliber, and then you've got these morons here demanding all the money in the world. They go out there and they put up 99 points, yet they continue to tell everyone in Toronto and everyone around the league that they're 100-point guys. Well, you're fucking not. That's a different number than the one you've got there, buddy. You're hitting 99, you're not hitting 100, so you're in la la land when it comes to that. Now you're going to tell everybody you're this great team. You're not. You're a good team. That's the extent of it. That's your ceiling. You're a really good team. You're not a great team. So get pissed off, respond, have some balls and pride in what goes on the ice. Like, I'm not even asking for panic here. I'm asking for frustration or response. It makes no sense to have that type of response when you go out on the ice. The post-game shit, like, last night was a really good game. That was a fun game to watch. That was an intense game. That was a playoff type game, in all seriousness. I think the Leafs played pretty well. To your point there, Moretto, they had a couple of gaffes. It loses you the game. Okay, yeah, in an 82-game season, that might happen. But, like, fucking own it. That's 4 straight games you've blown leads now. That one of which includes the Colorado Avalanche. You're up 3-0, by the way, and you lost 5-3 in regulation. Then you're up against the Detroit Red Wings, who are chasing you. You lost in regulation, and then you're up on the Oilers here tonight, and you lost in regulation again. Like, this is just it's pathetic to, like, then have that response after the fact. Like, the game itself I don't think was that bad, but then to follow it up with the response you do, it's like, this is why no one thinks you're a serious organization or serious contenders. I had to get that off my chest. Sorry. I'm
love
good.
it.
I had to change my little headline while you were ranting there.
Yeah, I'm good now. I wasn't going to say anything, but, like, to that extent, but, like, I woke up this morning and I just, like, watched the Marner clip again. I don't know why I did that, but I was like,
oh man, you can't do that.
I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like,
why would you do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know why I did that.
That was some quote though. Like,
I guess you watch that to get fired up before the show, right? And it's like smelling.
It's like watching The Miracle on Ice.
You're walking down the tunnel with the smelling salts and just getting yourself all fired up for this. You have to watch that. Marner clip so you can get all wired for this rant.
All right, I'm good with that. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add there, but that's the extent of my.
I don't know if everyone saw the Marner quote. I don't know if we can bring it on screen, but I got it up here. He said that we got to ignore what everyone else says. We know we're a great hockey team. We show up every night. I mean, this last 4 games we've had leads. We've played some awesome hockey, some great hockey.
Yeah, fuck your awesome hockey, dude.
Hey, we had leads, so everything's okay.
I'm not sure blowing.
That was the tweet I put out yesterday.
A 3-0 lead to Colorado, a 2-goal lead there to Edmonton, and then whatever that was against Detroit on Sunday is necessarily good.
Yeah.
But it's like you played one good period against the Islanders, and then you played the second and the third period at a mediocre to below average level. You lose the game. You played one good period against the Avalanche. You played same thing against the Avs in the second and the third. Same thing against the Red Wings. Last night was the first 55-minute game that you played, and you had 5 minutes of brain farts that led to the Oilers being able to come back and take that lead. That's really what, to even paint this brush of over those 4 games of, we played some really good hockey. Yeah, some. There was some really good hockey jumped into there, but whatever. I mean, hey, if they're happy, you know what? If they're happy, they're happy. You know, they're the ones making $11 million. Why the fuck should I care? Right?
Just a job, man.
Just a job. Yeah, and reality is, I messaged you guys last night, they only get paid for the regular season anyways, so that's all we should expect of them. Give us your points in the regular season, win some awards, and see you next year. Go enjoy your golf. That's what it comes down to. But
I still think the funniest thing's going to be after the Leafs kind of do this all year, where they're just blowing leads every other night. This will be the year that they actually make a run. But I still think that'd be great.
No.
All right.
You haven't been around this team long enough, Matt.
I don't. Yeah.
The fact you think that.
No. All right, let's get into tonight's games. We got 3 ahead of us here, so let's first and foremost start with Moretto's Montreal Canadiens on the road here against the New Jersey Devils tonight. New Jersey currently coming in -175. You see the Habs +170, a total of 6.5 here tonight. Moretto, what are your thoughts on this game? And especially being the Habs guy, can you give us some insight as to why you're probably going to continue to be the undertaker here?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I just want to see if we still don't have any. Oh, we do have goalie confirmation. It is Dawes, which is awesome because Vanacek's been brutal. So, I'm going to get on this under here, and I'm going to bet it right now myself, too, because I was kind of waiting for that confirmation. I don't know if the market will necessarily react to that towards the under with the Dawes confirmation. He's been playing a lot better, but like I think market wise, they probably would consider the market would probably consider Vanacek better. I don't know. We'll see how they react to that. But Vanacek's been terrible this year. You go back a little bit further, and he's been brutal too. This boils down to like, yeah, I mean the Habs are obviously I've been betting a lot of their unders, so I'm not going to make any secret about the fact that like I'm going to be on an under again here. I don't think anyone's that surprised. But like this is also a good matchup for the sake that I think the Devils are a lot more of an under team than the market is kind of making them out to be. We saw them, the under against Boston on Monday. They're just playing low event hockey. The injuries up front have kind of decimated their forward group. They don't have 3-4 lines that can score anymore like they used to. That depth has just been is completely gone. You got Palat, you got Meyer, you got Hughes. There's someone else that's out too for them. And then obviously on the back end, missing Hamilton and Siegenthaler. It's just like it's tough to, replace that many guys with guys from, the AHL and just not lose that any steam like this. So it's obviously kind of expected the way this has gone. This is just they're not generating a ton of offense. They're still playing solid defensive hockey. They're just they've turned into sort of a middle of the pack team with all these injuries is basically what it boils down to. They're not this explosive run and gun team. Like the market is still kind of pricing them to be. Habs are definitely a lot more of an under team, especially with Montebo in net. Sammy's been awesome. Definitely deserved that contract that they gave him. We'll see whether it's sustainable long term, but at least in the the interim, he's been very, very good since the start of last season. So yeah, getting Montebo and Dawes here is kind of perfect, and this is an under 6.5 bet for me.
All right, well, under 6.5 minus 105 a lock in. What does that number get up to, Moretto? Because there are a wide ranging. This is pretty widely available across some regulated books there, but there are some ranging numbers for this.
Yeah, let's go to like minus 115, I'd say.
Okay, so that is definitely widely available there.
Yeah.
Minus 110s, minus 111, 12, all the way out through 15. And again, check those in the BetStamp app. But Matt, what are your thoughts on this game here tonight and the goaltending situation going on?
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting Dawes tonight, actually. I definitely lean more to the under there. Vanacek, as you said, has been awful. I think kind of what you said that was interesting, and I fully agree with, is like the market is probably still rating Vanacek better than Dawes, and I don't know how you can do that right now. Like we have at this point, like Dawes has played last 5 or 6 games. He's played a bunch, and like he's been really good. Like when that first game, I think he played Washington. Like I think we were running to like bet the over in that game and bet Washington. I was running to bet Washington, and like he's been really good. But I think what we've seen like a lot of this year is that the market doesn't necessarily have a good grasp of goalies. And I don't believe they do. They were very slow to pick up on Jonathan Quick having a good year. They were very slow on Gustafsson struggling early. It's just there's a pattern with this where like everybody kind of gets set in what goalies have like been in past years and doesn't realize that goalies are just so volatile year to year. So I think that you're kind of seeing that right now with Dawes, right? And it's like, I don't know how. Like, I do agree with you that if Vanacek was starting, the under would take money. I just don't agree with that. So I think something like this, where especially if you're getting a goalie on a hot streak, like, yeah, go ahead and kind of look to back them. But no, it's certainly under nothing for me here. I actually may play it at this point. I was certainly expecting to see Vanacek with Dawes kind of playing a lot in the last few games, but no, fully agree on that.
All right, well, double best bet on the under. We'll continue to move on here. We will recap the picks at the very end of the show here. You can see all of them in real time over on the BetStamp app. You can find us there in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ, in which you can see our entire body of work from this season, as well as dating back to last year as well. So make sure to give that a check as well. If you're watching right now, please hit that like button here on the stream. We've talked about before the fact that Moretto was going to get me in Habs jersey doing watch-alongs and stuff. If you want to see my brain explode in real time watching the Maple Leafs, then that would also be another way to do so on these watch-alongs. But we got to get to 2,000 subscribers here first. So please hit that subscribe button. We're just over 40 away here now. I think actually might be down to 39 away for the subscribers. So let's get it there. Hitting like here on the stream does help support us, help pump those numbers up. So we do appreciate that. But yeah, you guys can help us. We can help get a little bit closer. Now, 2 more games here tonight. We'll take a look at this. The Florida Panthers minus 205 hosting the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit plus 190 coming in. A total currently sitting at 6.5 for this one. Matt, what are your thoughts on this game here tonight? And do you have an opinion on the side or the total?
I have nothing at all. I'm kind of pretending this game doesn't exist. The Panthers are probably going to stomp them. I don't know what to make of Detroit right now. They've actually played pretty decent lately. I have nothing. I think the side and the total are kind of just in line. I do have something for Florida later that we'll talk about, but no, I have nothing on this game tonight.
All right. Moretto, anything for you here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like blanket bet unders on this show. I know they're not the most fun bet, but I did bet the under here. I think that Alex Lyon is another guy who's kind of, we talk about goalies and how they're viewed in market. Like, he's not a name guy and he's not someone who's the most respected, but his track record now, like dating back pretty far, has been very good. He's had a good season. He's starting tonight. And yeah, I mean, I bet this at plus 107 at an offshore spot, but like anything plus money for me is good. I think So Money talked about this too on Monday. The Panthers should not have totals at 6.5. They're not viewed correctly by this market. This is a very good, very, very, very good defensive hockey team. And the Red Wings, yeah, they're like Alber touched on it. They are a little bit of a weird team, but they're not generating much either. They're kind of almost like their shooting percentage has been very high, due for some regression for sure, kind of like Vancouver-esque in that way, except, much, worse. But this is a tough matchup for them to try and get the offense going. We're going to get Bobrovsky in net. I'm a fan of Lyon. Again, this total just shouldn't be as high as it is. I don't think we should still be sitting at 6.5. The fact that they played on Monday against the Ducks and had that high scoring game, which was, I think, more just an outlier than anything, where the Ducks scored those 5 goals against them. You're not going to get that from Florida very often. So just a weird sort of afternoon game on a Monday for them. I think that's all you can chalk it up to. And because of it, I think we're getting a little bit of value on this under now because of it. So yeah, this is another under for me. And, I don't have anything on the last game, which we'll get to, but I think Alber and I were talking about it. Maybe this is a grand salami under type of night here where, I think the ceiling for these games is a little bit lower. So when we get some lines posted for that, I think that could be a fun bet for sure.
All right, well, there you go. 2 best bets locked in. We will recap all of those again at the very end, but under 6.5, anything plus money, we're going to grab that one. Plus 105. Now, final game in the schedule here tonight. The Buffalo Sabres, they are hosting the Chicago Blackhawks. Buffalo minus 260. Chicago plus 255. A total of 6 out there at books like Pinnacle. You can find some 6.5s elsewhere, but those would be heavily juiced to the under on those. Moretto, what are your thoughts on this game here, and do you have an opinion, side or total?
I wouldn't mind getting honestly, you can make a case for both sides of this total. Like, there's which is why I think it's kind of priced right. Like, Soderblom in net is a big no for me on betting the under, especially against a Buffalo team that's kind of starting to turn it on a little bit. But Buffalo isn't playing great defensively. Chicago, we talked about how they are playing a lot better defensively, but now they're also on a back-to-back, kind of a tough matchup for them. Yeah, I don't have any interest in betting this either way. I do think that the ceiling for goals in this game though is low, which is why I like the salami. Obviously, liking the under in the other 2 games. I'm not willing to bet an under in this game, but I do think the ceiling is low for goals in this game, because I just don't think you're going to get enough from Chicago to really get like a 10-goal, 8-goal game or 9-goal game that would sewer the salami, right? So I think the ceiling is lower, but not enough for me to take an under here either.
All right, well, Matt, talk to me. Come on, you got to be getting disgusting here tonight, no?
I mean, I can get disgusting with a salami. I cannot get disgusting backing Soderblom. This game doesn't exist. The slate is. I saw the slate yesterday, and I was like, I'm not going to have much to add to this. Like, hopefully, we can get Zach ranting on the Leafs, and we can have Rangers talk radio.
I'll check that box.
This game just it doesn't exist. I I have played a good amount of these kind of salami totals this year. Exactly kind of what Moretto was saying, right? Like you get a lot of games that you feel like the ceiling's not necessarily that high. Like I've played a good amount of salami unders this year. I actually played it last night with one. So I am in agreement with that. I think we end up seeing 18 or 18 and a half is that number. So I'd probably take that just to, care about something. But yeah, this game just doesn't exist. It's ugly.
All right, fair enough. Well, as for today's bets, we are currently sitting at the 2, and you can see those in the BetStamp app. But for quick recap here, we got the Habs Devils under 6.5 minus 105, and then as well we've got the Red Wings Panthers under 6.5 plus 105 there as well. Moretto, I see this comment here, Rich saying March 9th, Toronto at Montreal, Jersey night.
Lock it in.
No, this is one. No, I told you guys I will not do it if it's against the Habs for just a regular Habs game. Sure, against the Habs, like no, no, I can't do that. Come on, like well, I also have some pride.
So here's where that becomes great because the Leafs play the Rangers and the Habs on back-to-back Saturday nights in early March.
Ooh. That's 2 wins
so
for
you
us.
guys gonna
Zach's already just dreading those days.
Oh God! All right. Well, we'll figure something out for those games. Maybe we'll do like our own internal show bet on those ones when those happen. But those are the games for today. Now, I mentioned I was sent over some futures questions via Twitter. If you do have questions and stuff, obviously send them in the chat during live here. But if you're someone who watches after the fact or listens on podcasts, reach out and we'll try to answer these as well. It does help also just give us extra things to talk about on days where there's only 3 games here. We're not gonna lie to you guys. We have to add other stuff to it. But just quickly here to close this one out, Matt on Twitter messaged me and said, was wondering if you guys could go over the futures market, divisional races, playoffs, and awards. That one we did kind of cover here, especially on the Wednesday show, a little bit over the last couple of weeks. But Matt says was particularly curious to get some thoughts on the Islanders to make playoffs. Got in at minus 130, so the market has moved against me somewhat on that. And the Panthers to win their division. Got in at plus 200, so better news there. Do you guys have any thoughts on, first and foremost, we'll start with these two, the Islanders to make the playoffs, got in at minus 130. Is there any way you'd kind of counteract that? Do you just hold on to that ticket? Thoughts there? And then finally with the Panthers to win their division, plus 200. And if you're just going to sit and hold those tickets.
I'm not as worried about, go ahead.
No, you can go.
I'm not as worried about the Islanders right now as I think others are. I think this is just kind of a rough patch for them. And you look at it and it's like, it's not like they've dropped like out of contention or anything. Like they're 1 point out of a playoff spot after having gone through a rough patch. That said, obviously there's better numbers out there. I see like plus 200 out there that I actually think may not be a bad play. Like right now you got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams within 2 points in the East around that line. So it's like, I think when you're looking, if you're going to play some team around there, you're looking for one of those teams with longer odds down there, like the Islanders. I just kind of closed out of what I was in. The Islanders, like, I think they're around plus 200. So I do like that more than most. I obviously have thoughts on the Panthers, but I'll let Moretto go to the Isles first. So I can pull this back.
I think the Isles are a little bit cooked right now. I don't know. I see Charles in the chat here. That I think I somewhat agree with this. I think there's something going on with Lambert. I don't think they are buying into him right now. I don't think he's able to get them up for like the way the team just like left the bench after that Saturday game
that was
against
nuts.
The Predators. That was I've never seen anything like that. That was very strange. Yeah. There's something going on there. This team is they look a little bit dead to me. I think there's way too much talent for them to be dropping off the way they have. And Matt's right. They're not out of it and they do have a good team. And like, there's not a ton that suggests, they're like cooked here, but like, just like narrative-y and just like how it looks from the outside, they look a little bit cooked. Yeah. We'll see whether they can turn it around. I don't know. Maybe like a trade, maybe they do fire Lambert. Honestly, I do think firing Lambert is maybe the way to go here. I don't think he's gotten the most out of this team for a while now. And, like defensively, you look at like the guys they have on that team and, in like Dobson and Pellick and, everyone they have on the back end, they have a very good team. They should be playing. Like, I understand they want to cater a little bit more towards offense, but like you can't come at a complete sacrifice of how you are defensively in the system. And they're not playing good. They're leaning very heavily on Sorokin, which obviously is like a luxury that they have, but this team should be playing a lot better than they are. And I think that Lambert is probably an issue. And I do think that getting rid of him now, and maybe it's like selfish, but getting rid of Lambert and bringing someone in and just to get that new coach bump for a little while is probably enough to push them over the edge and get them into the playoffs. So like selfishly, maybe I kind of hope that happens. But yeah, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. I think at the end of the day, you can look at it like who's out there that's going to help us. I mean, Berube would be fantastic. Does he want the job? I don't know, but if you can bring Berube...
No. There's a spot waiting for him in Toronto here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I would do if I were them. I would make that change now. Get that bump, and I think he's honestly Berube and Lou in there. Whew, that's the framework you want. That's the framework you want. So that would be very good for my my Isles friends. I hope that happens.
Yeah, and to your point about the coach thing, like you could blame rosters and stuff, or say maybe the Islanders team just how it's been playing, how it's been constructed, maybe it's not good enough or whatever. But to me, it also goes to the point of like, when you just pull a goalie who maybe the goals haven't been their faults in a first period, you're down 3-0 there, a couple bad goals against, or from the team perspective, not on the goalie, and you yank the goalie, and you're kind of hear the commentator saying, oh, none of those have been their fault, but it's like that wake-up call to the rest of the team. In a sense, especially at this point, you're doing that to a team with a coach, with a team that's supposed to be better than they are, can kind of just send the same message, like, we can't do anything about you guys right now, so this is the next best option. Sending like that kind of message to the team, like, you haven't been good enough. You've cost this guy his job. Like, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to respond to that? And that can sometimes be enough to just jolt you into the right direction, where maybe you get the coach's bump, but then maybe it just sustained because you kind of look around. Like the Oilers there in Edmonton, when Woodcroft gets pulled, like, no one thought Woodcroft was the problem. That was them and the way that they were playing to start the season, on top of the fact that McDavid and Draisaitl haven't been playing like normal McDavid and Draisaitl. But Woodcroft gone, Nobla comes in there. Like, you cannot convince me that Nobla is the greatest coach to ever stand behind the bench. But it's a different voice, it's a different perspective, a different opinion. And now those Oilers players who loved Woodcroft are kind of sitting there going, oh, fuck, we cost that guy his job because of the way we were playing. So, I think the coaches switch up could be pretty good there. Are there any other divisional races, playoffs, or awards, futures awards that you guys are looking at this point in time? Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I was trying to pull that up while he was talking. So I'm already loaded in Panthers everything. We've talked about Panthers conference, Panthers division. I played this morning Panthers plus 320 to finish the East with the most points this year. That's at FanDuel. I don't know how widely available that is. I very high on Florida, very high on them this year, high on their ability to add near the deadline. Rangers have kind of struggled a little bit. Like, the Leafs aren't going to be up there. I'm obviously pretty low on the Bruins and their ability to score. I think the Panthers right now might be the best team in the East, frankly. So I think you're kind of looking at that, and they're the third favorite in there. The other one I did play the other day was them. I believe it was 11-1 to win the President's Trophy, but I got on that one as well. I'm just loaded up on everything Florida here.
And Moretto, we know that you're also loaded up on Florida here on some futures stuff. Is there anything else out there, or have you added anything recently?
No, so we talked about this for Matt, who sent you the message, if he's listening. We talked about futures a couple weeks ago. Maybe Zach can throw a link in the description after, or like in the comments or something like this later on today, if you want to check out that episode. But I still I don't think there's value in everything that we gave out. I mean, the Oilers to win the division at 8-1 was, I think, a really good bet at that time. Now they're like in more in like the 3-1 range, like the 5-2 range, not necessarily not, or 7-2 range, I guess, not necessarily dying to do that anymore. But the Panthers still, like, obviously it's a lot shorter now, but plus 150-ish on the Panthers to win the Atlantic is still a good bet. I think that I think they're going to win the Atlantic. That's what it boils down to. I think this, I think Matt's bet of them to win the conference, maybe even, or like not to win the conference, but to have the most regular season points, which is obviously less widely available, is also a very good look. I didn't even notice that market. So I like that too. Yeah, Panthers stuff. I think honestly the Hurricanes to win the division, not to throw shade at the Rangers, because Capo Caco's back and he boosts their win percentage by 5% every game from here on out, as long as he plays. But yeah, I think Alber gave that out a little while ago, and that price isn't the same anymore either. But I think the Hurricanes to win the division is a decent look still, at like around 2-1. But I haven't bet anything futures wise since that week where we kind of loaded up on some Panthers and Oilers stuff.
I see a question here. I can answer this one. Matthew Bingham saying, is there one particular player prop market that you found that has the most value, i.e. goals, shots on goals, saves, etc.? Seems like line shopping, bigger price variances in these markets offers potential value. That's first and foremost the easiest way to go about it. Saves, for me particularly, is being something I've stayed away from. That is just like, look, you want to talk about NFL guys getting injured and stuff and being prepared to bet unders because that can happen. Saves is like a goalie could let in one bad goal on 3 shots or 2 bad goals on 3 shots and be down 2-0 in the first like 8 minutes of a period and he's gone. And the other team might put up 50, 60 shots that night where you would have hit the saves mark, but like the guy you bet on is cooked within the first 5 minutes. Like, obviously these things, some things you have to account for, but it's just more, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of account for some of those. Maybe some teams have defensive clinics at nights. Like, it can be somewhat tough if you're just someone who's just going to line shop from that standpoint. Goals seems to be the best area, especially if you have an understanding of the game, the lineups, the kind of matchups, the stylistic matchups that are going to happen, and maybe the usage players are going to get, where you can find, I know Moretto jokes about it all the time, but like you can find that Matthew Nyes, who was playing on the third line, is now all of a sudden going to be playing on the first line, and he's being priced as a fourth line player at that point in time, when it's like, well, okay, maybe his ability to score if he's on the third or fourth line should be that, but not when he's playing with Matthews and Mitch Marner. Like, that's a different pricing, and those are the ones that you can pick off and find. So that's kind of where I've been able to find the biggest discrepancies in those. A question here for you guys to close. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to pull out another question at one point too. So
there's a question here from Jeremy as well. Do you guys know of any regulated U.S. books that offer the salami? Matt, as our U.S. correspondent.
FanDuel offers it. I don't believe DraftKings offers it. I don't know about others personally.
All right.
FanDuel has it under their. The caveat I'll put on FanDuel is I know it's not offered in some states, but if you have it, it'll be under daily specials.
And then Moretto, what was the question you were going to pull up? I didn't want to just jump over.
From Charles here. Which top 6 wingers should the Panthers get at the deadline? They definitely need one, or at least like some middle 6 guy, because their depth scoring hasn't been happening for them. I think Luosterainen is their only bottom 6 forward that has a goal in the last like month, and he's got all 5 of them. My dream scenario for the Panthers would be to add Anthony Mantha. I think that's who he's a pending UFA. He's got a bigger contract, but obviously you're only taking on a fraction of that with acquiring him at the deadline. They have the room to acquire him. They're one of the few teams that has the space. He's not on the books for next year, which is great. This is a guy who's like obviously got a history of scoring goals in this league. He's scoring goals again this year at a rate he didn't, in the last couple of years. Very big body. Like, to add another big body like that to that team in the middle 6, to guys like Bennett and to Chuck, and Mantha's a guy who's just a nightmare to play against. That would be just like the perfect stylistic and everything fit for Florida. That's like my dream ad for them as someone who wants to see this team make a deep run for all our wallets. I think Mantha would be perfect for them.
Yeah, and I think when you're looking at agree. Guys that play playoff style, like, he fits that for them, right? And it's like, I think it kind of helps everybody slot in below him really well too. So no, I'm in full agreement that he agrees with it.
All right, I think that'll do it for today's show. We do appreciate all the support. Charles, I appreciate the kind words there. It gets brighter eventually. Zach, was terrible to be a Panthers fan forever. Now it's pretty awesome. I'm happy for you, but I'm also from Toronto, man. Like this is who we are. Like this is what we do. So I don't know. But I appreciate everyone who's come over and supported this show. Carrie LeMay hopping over and choosing the Edgework show. We appreciate that. Tim and Rich coming over from the Ice Guys there as well and watching. I appreciate all the support from everybody. Before we can get out of here today, we did recap a couple of the bets. We have the Habs, Devils under 6.5 minus 105. The Red Wings, Panthers under 6.5 plus 105. But I have something for Moretto to just send him off on a happy note here to finish the day. Let's go and play this clip for him.
Obviously pissed off about it, but like I said, I mean, all these games we've been playing, we've played some really good hockey. We've just given it back. We've had a lot of chances to
really good hockey
games and haven't done a good job of that. And I thought we played pretty good defensively again tonight, but just a little slip up here and there, and they got a lot of skill that can make things happen.
What a quote, boys! What a quote! What a team,
good, guys! It's all good.
It's all good.
Learn from the best hockey dad out there.
Oh God! All right. Anyways, thanks to everyone who tuned in here today. We do appreciate the support. We appreciate everyone tuning in. The fire alarm outside my apartment ripping right as we go here as
I'm
well.
also seeing
We're just
19
having
and
a
a half
great
here
day.
for
What a day.
for Grand Salami.
19 and
That's
a
the
half?
first one I see.
Yeah, we're going
Nice.
under 19 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who tuned in. We appreciate the support.
My computers
Matt.
aren't even working. I got the sun fucking coming through over here now.
Our pets' heads are falling off. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who tuned in. Matt, Moretto, thank you guys for taking the time to do this. We'll see everyone back here tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for more picks and previews. Myself, So Money, and Rusty Bill. Matt, we'll see you back here. Moretto, we'll see you back here next week as well. Thanks for everyone for the support. Continue to like and subscribe here to the channel. If you listen on podcasts, subscribe, rate, and review. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck on your bets.